And that runs, I think, pretty much through August. And then I have some not-for-profit healthcare jobs mixed in. But now that I'm financial services, I think those are going to start to go away and I'll stick to banks.
Outside of your audit work that you do, is there anything else that you do? I did hear that you work a little bit with some of our interns in the onboarding process. Can you tell us a little bit about what that entails?
Yeah, so I'm an onboarding partner, I should say, excuse me. I've done that the last 2 years now. So each summer we bring on a summer intern class. I think we do actually have winter interns as well, but I haven't been an onboarding partner for the winter yet. That is pretty simple, really. Work the first couple weeks just to help get them up to speed on firm best practices, how to use the software, kind of what the day-to-day is going to look like. And then I'm more of just a liaison or maybe even a support person. If they have questions, whether that be on the work that they're doing on a day-to-day basis or how to enter time for certain clients, I'm just kind of there as a crutch for them to learn, bounce ideas off of us. And actually a program that we have with the onboarding partners is you get a lunch so we can take them out and kind of talk about what they're going to expect to get out of the internship, how they think it's going, what they might want to do with their career, anything along those lines. And that's reimbursed by the firm, which is really cool. And we're also allowed monthly like little coffee dates. So actually me and my current intern, Jeff, just went on a coffee date the other day. And we've already kind of talked through his career goals. So it's more just getting to know each other. But he's a really cool kid. So that was great for both of us.
That's some good stuff there, Conner. So it's kind of a perfect pivot into what we were wanting to talk about next. You kind of mentioned helping interns out and new staff and those below you. So if we bring it back to past Conner, what kind of drew you to accounting and what kind of drew you to BerryDunn specifically?
Well, accounting in general, I would say just the fact I'm a math guy. The numbers have kind of always made a little bit more sense to me. Easy to work through a problem and you know when you get the right answer, right? So that was a big one for me. I did well in my accounting classes and I had a local professor at UNH, shout out Baruby, tell me that if you're doing well in the accounting classes that you should look at maybe getting into that career because it's not something that people usually pick up quickly. So that's what I did. I leaned into that. I had another professor kind of reach out, not to me specifically, but to our class one day and tell me that BerryDunn was looking for interns. So I got put in touch with them through her, and I had an interview with Kaylin Landry and Katie Belucas, and didn't really feel like an interview. It was more of kind of an introduction. It felt like we just chatted for 30 minutes, and I was really nervous before the call, and when I got off the call, I forgot that I had interviewed for an internship. So I thought that was really great. Made me feel really comfortable. And then at the internship itself, the culture is just amazing. I like the team orientation of BerryDunn, where you're on a different team for each engagement from week to week, but you're also kind of an individual, right? You're given your specific areas that you need to work through, and you can work with other people. And if you have questions, it's easy to ask somebody for help, but nice to have that independence as well. So that was something that kind of drew me in to BerryDunn, and then working here full time and just seeing some of the benefits and the policies that we have in place, like the work from anywhere policy that we have that I take advantage of right now. So I actually am staffed out of the Manchester office, but I'm living in Portsmouth, New Hampshire on the seacoast, which is about 45 minutes away. So I think technically I'm fully remote, but I'm in the office every couple of weeks for 2 to 3 days, depending on the needs of my team that week. Like I'm in the office right now, actually working on a healthcare job with 3 or 4 other people.
That's awesome stuff, man. You really covered a lot of kind of the perks and of working at BerryDunn and what makes you excited to work at BerryDunn. That's always a really good feeling when you finish one of those interviews. And like you said, it didn't really even feel like an interview. It feels more just like a conversation with somebody. So I think you definitely really highlighted some of the, what gets you excited to work within FSPG here at BerryDunn. That's awesome stuff.
How does being an accountant that you are now, how does that compare to what you wanted to be when you were younger?
I don't know that it really does compare, to be totally honest with you, Jen. I wanted to be a conservation officer when I was younger. So a game warden or a fish and game officer. There's a bunch of different names for them. I always knew them as conservation officers, but I'm a big outdoorsman, and being in a profession that allowed me to be outside every day, kind of policing the things that I love, which are hunting and fishing and just conservation in general, was really appealing to me. But apparently I'm more materialistic than that because they don't make enough money.
Very honest of you, Conner. We very much appreciate that.
Yeah, I would never lie to you.
So that brings me into my next question. I feel like I already know the answer to this, but outside of all of the work that you do here at BerryDunn, what can our listeners see you or find? Where can we find you spending your free time?
Outside in the woods. I would call myself an outdoorsman. If you can do it outside, I like to do it. I'm a big hunter. I take time off in the spring and in the fall to do some hunting in both Maine and New Hampshire, which is another great thing about BerryDunn. With our responsible PTO policy, that's something that I can do. So as long as I'm not taking excessive amounts of PTO time and I'm getting my work done, there's nobody really policing how much PTO I'm taking, which is nice. You need to be responsible about it, but it's good to know that I have that freedom to kind of step back and get outside when I need to reset, which is the way that I do reset, because you can just unplug and shut your brain off out there.
That's good stuff there, Conner. So that can definitely take us to our next segment within the pod here, called Schmores. For any new listeners, anyone that's not listened to this podcast before, Schmores is a segment we do. Basically, it is your Mount Rushmore of blank. So there's 4 presidents on Mount Rushmore, so it's your top 4 or 3, doesn't always have to be 4, your top 4 of blank. And Conner, for an outdoorsman such as yourself, I think there's no better topic here today than your favorite or top outdoor activities. What would you say those are?
First, definitely would be hunting. I think there's not a whole lot more rewarding than that. I guess maybe rewarding's not the right word, but it's a great way to get outside and kind of reset, recharge your batteries, unplug from work a little bit. There's no deadlines. It's just be out 30 minutes before sun up to 30 minutes after sundown. And I don't know, something about, especially deer hunting, something about putting yourself in the woods close enough to an animal, you know where it's going to be. There's something really special about that. So yeah, that would be my number 1 for sure. Number 2, close second, probably fishing. Not quite the thrill as hunting, but another great way to just get outside and take a breather, That has always put me at ease. And for number 3, this could be a toss-up between the 2. Actually, no, I don't think it is a toss-up. I'll go mountain biking for number 3, because it's a little bit more of a thrill. Number 4 is going to be hiking, and I would say mountain biking's above that because there's a little bit more risk involved. It's a little more thrilling. To be honest, I haven't mountain biked as much as I would like to lately, now that I'm living in southern New Hampshire. But I grew up in North Conway, so I call it northern New Hampshire. It's probably more central New Hampshire. But we had a mountain biking team in high school, and I did that for a year, and it was a blast. It's just, yeah, it's a thrill. You got to be on your toes. Definitely have learned that one the hard way. A couple injuries, but it's a good time. And like I said, 4 would be hiking, because once again, you're just good way to unplug. You're outside, it's just you and the trail and the mountain, and at the end, maybe you get a nice view. I'd say if I was going to hike, I'd rather do it with a gun, and maybe get some hunting in, but that one's already